Hi there, welcome to another episode of Vern's Misadventures. So this one we're going to be getting into repairing the Model 4. Last time through we fixed the power supply, replaced the old Reefa caps with some modern polyester caps. We also freed up the brightness and contrast knobs and we got them operational. We were able to light the screen and we know we have a working monitor and a working power supply. So in this one, we're going to see if we can get the computer going. So looking here at the wires, we got red, black, orange, yellow. Black and orange on the second connector. And on the one we couldn't connect, red, black, orange. So see if I can find a red, a black, and an orange jumper. Alrighty, let's put this one in the second one here. We'll just use a blue one in case, since I can't seem to find the right red one. So the orange one goes in the third one. Use this blue one in place of the red. Because, you know, blue and red, they look very similar, right? Alright, now we'll go to this connector here and say blue will go to the red. Let's see here. Orange would go to orange. Well, let's do the black one next. There we go. Black one goes second. Now with that on there, we can put the orange one on. There we go. It's beautiful. Alright, that's good enough to test anyway. Well, looks like a whole lot of nothing. So I try pressing brake and reset, and I'm noticing that the reset button doesn't exactly move. I thought, well, maybe it's just a membrane issue. Maybe the membrane's collapsed or something. That could be the whole problem. I mean, if it's shorted to reset, the computer's never going to work that way. It's never going to start. Go ahead and turn up the brightness so that at least you can see that something's happening on the screen here. There we go. Huh. So let's try disconnecting the keyboard. So we disconnect the keyboard, then if the reset switch is stuck, and that's the problem, that will take it out of the equation. Oh my goodness, look at that! Are you kidding me? It's asking for a cassette, y'all. Are you looking? Look at that! I love it. Yeah, now we got the raster lines out of the way. That looks really nice. Yeah. The thing is, with the TRS-80 Model 4 here, it was originally plastic welded together, as I'm going to be discovering here as I go through this. So there are some screws on there. You take the screws out, but that's not going to get us much. We do need to get the screws out, so let's get that done. So of course that one's broken off on the bottom of the keyboard, so we're just spinning the lug around. It's not going to come apart. So then my next bright idea was, oh, well, maybe if I pop this aluminum shield off, we'll expose some screws, right? Because I hadn't quite realized the magnitude of our situation here. Yeah. So I'm realizing all these little buttons hold it here, right? They're not buttons, that they were originally just straight pegs, and then they used some kind of an iron to mash them together and melt them. So I went through the steps to peel that away. So you can see what that got us. Now we got the wood stuck on by all the little plastic deals. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and flip it over, and we'll pull the keycaps. Maybe there's screws hidden underneath the keycaps. So I just went ahead and took my side cutters, thinking if I cut them off instead of breaking them off, then at least we'll have what's left of the pegs to use for alignment. I was thinking maybe I could glue it, or maybe use some little screws or something to put it back together. Pop it open, see what happens. Oh yeah, there's the old membrane. So there's our reset switch. Over on the left side here from our point of view. That orange button right there. See, I'm checking the dome to see if the dome had collapsed. There's the dome right there. We begin to realize that the problem is that the button itself is stuck. And it got that real fine sand that was all over the whole computer. I got it down in there between the button and the keyboard case, and it stopped moving. It's just seized up. So I thought before I went any further, I'd see if I could get it apart, get it cleaned up, and see if we could make it work again. Because if I couldn't accomplish that, there was not a whole lot of point doing much else. Wipe it down with a little deoxit, get all the dust off of it. Then we'll wipe out the keyboard. I want to call it the case. I guess that's what it is. So we wipe out the key and the keyboard case part, then that should free it up to where it can move. So now with it clean and a little bit of deoxit to kind of lube it up, yeah. As hard as it is to get this thing apart, as far as we've got it so far, we may as well go ahead and get it all apart, clean up the other keys while we're at it. So I'm going to take it apart and wipe the membrane down, see if we get any more of that dust and sandish, that really gritty dust that was on there. Get it off there, as long as we got it apart. Alright, now we can get these parts cleaned up here. We get all the grit off of them so it won't work its way back down into the keys membrane. Cause trouble again later. Even though that's not going to show, the goal here is to get that grit off of it so that it won't work its way down in the keys. Let's kind of lay this out in the order in which it's going to go back together. So I cleaned that up in the shower and then blew it out with my little air duster. So that's nice and clean now. It desperately needed that. It was pretty filthy. Trying to figure out how exactly that goes. So you got to push it down on all the little spiky guys sticking up there that we broke the little buttons off or cut them off. So next will be the springs. Oh yeah, we don't want to leave that reset button out. That would be a mess, wouldn't it? Had a little bit of pooled up deoxit in the cap there, so I blew it out real quick. So yeah, before we put the springs in so they can fall out and get lost, well, let's go ahead and have a look and see how this is going to function. Looks pretty good. So that's the dome. That's what gives it the spring to it. So we'll get the tweezers and put all the springs back now. Alrighty. I think we can start putting this thing back together now. Once again, trying to get it over all the little spiky guys. It's a good thing to leave those on there to kind of realign everything. Was my thought process, and it turned out to work pretty well. Now if we can get this piece back on. Get this mangled up thing to lay down again. That was a bit of a challenge. So a while back I had bought these little black screws here. They're supposed to be for like replacing screws for laptops if you lose them or something like that. But I thought they'd be perfect for this. They're about the right size. And so I thought, well, I'll try to drive one in, see how well it works out. So I ended up getting my little motorized screwdriver. I cut that part out in the editing process. And but you know, I didn't tighten them all by hand. That would be silly. All right, look at that. So let's separate the springs and the keycaps so that we can soak the keycaps in soapy water. I don't really want to do that to the springs. It's bad policy. Alrighty. So put some soap and water in that and let it sit for a little bit. Then we can find something else to do while that does its thing. So 303 spray does a great job of shining up black plastic, so I thought, you know, it's never going to have better access to it than right now. So really brought out the texture where you could really see it nicely with the 303 spray on there. Now the tedious process of taking each key out and wiping it down with deoxit to kind of shine it up. Not deoxit, I'm sorry, 303 spray. That took some doing, but there's one we've been looking for. The last one. Now we just got to put it all back together. Well, we don't know if it works or not, but man, it's pretty to look at, isn't it? So we'll put the computer back together and we'll see if it's going to work or not. Plug the analog board back in. Put the keyboard back. Plug it in. Power it up. So I tried holding brake and pressing reset. Now you see something happens when you press the button. So I just press the enter button to get past the questions, and we dropped into Model 3 Basic. I went through and pressed all the keys, and I found that I had a few that didn't work. But I was able to type in a little basic program. So here we are. I mean, I'm going to call it off for this episode. We got the thing where we can turn it on, and some things we can type. So in the next episode, we'll go ahead and put the discs on, and we'll see what kind of software we can run and whatnot. And we'll see what we can do with that. Hey, thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you in the next one. Y'all take care.